Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm here to present to you some of the hurdles that you face in setting up Google Apps for education for your school, and some of the solutions, some of the ways around it that I've found. Just to introduce myself, my name's Simon Brown, implementation and training consultant at an organisation called RealSmart. I'm a Google certified trainer, and RealSmart is the UK's first and only Google certified training centre. That means that I spend the majority of my time working in schools in the UK and a few internationally, which is very nice, and working with schools to implement Google Apps. We've been doing this for 2.5 years, worked with around 200 schools, and I think that my experience is different to some others in that I'm a former teacher and VLE coordinator. I worked at Cramlington High School in Northumberland for a long time before I joined RealSmart, so I understand the user scenarios because of that experience. So I've highlighted some of the hurdles. I've spoken to lots of our schools in identifying these things. So this comes from a mixture of, if you saw the previous presenter, John Hobson, Archbishop Lanfranc School, we work with them. Guys in the audience here from Quinton Kynaston School in London. So this comes very much from an implementation perspective from our users. So one of those difficulties might be changing the culture, or as John mentioned it, transforming the culture. And I've got some strategies for you that might help. Questions around hardware, around security. I'm sorry, I find that bit really dull, but it's something that we need to address. User management, how to make it easy, and the training and support element. This came up on Google Plus last week. Some of you may have seen it, and it really rang true to me. Not 1989. The excuse that I'm no good with computers is no longer acceptable. We've got to prepare our users for the world out there, and our staff have got to get on board and do that. Changing culture seems to be a big hurdle in schools, and I tend to say, shut up and get on with it. It's not about culture, it's about giving the best opportunities to people. So one of the ways that you can help affect that change is by giving people buy-in. So lots of our schools will start with a top-down approach. So the head teacher will start saying, okay, I'm going to set my agendas for meetings, for curriculum team meetings or a leadership meeting in a Google Doc. And I'll make it collaborative and I'll share it with my staff and we can edit this thing online. And some of our schools are saying that because they're collaborating in these documents online prior to a meeting, they're having the conversations and the discussions around that work, and they're able to then cancel the meeting. What a buy-in that is. Wouldn't you want Google Apps in your school if you could cancel the leadership meeting? I'm sure that will offend the senior leaders in schools that we've got, so I apologise. Can Google Apps replace our current learning environment? We've got an equation that we use, Gwynap-Parry's work, which is how do you measure the efficiency of a learning environment? Which the depth of learning divided by the energy used to facilitate that learning times the capacity for the learner to learn. Okay? So what we've got to look at are the pedagogical approach to using these technologies. The first thing that we do is we capture some learning. We use our devices, whatever they may be, to capture it. It could be a Word document, a photograph, a video, an image. We capture it. We represent it. We make it part of our portfolio, either in Google Docs or in any web app or wherever it exists. We share that with our teachers and with our peers, and we get feedback, and then we go back through the cycle. Where Google Apps add value to that and make it much more efficient is the collaboration that's within the heart of Google Apps for Edu. The collaboration in there means that at any point in the journey, whether it's capture, represent, or share, or feedback, you can do it with other people. I work with a wonderful head teacher, Derek Wise, who sent me to this show as a teacher about 5 or 6 years ago. And he wanted to find a collaborative working space. And he said, Simon, go and look at those Microsoft Smart Tables. Sorry, Microsoft guys. Go and look at them. I want the users to be able to work together. And we thought, oh, wouldn't it be great if they could take a PowerPoint, make some pictures, edit some work, do some research on the web. But they could only use one system at a time on these devices. Where Google Apps steps in, it says, it's not about the technology, it's about the user experience and the collaboration. So I can be editing a document, you can be doing some research, you can be adding the photographs, and we put them all together in a presentation, in a site, in a document, somewhere on the web. And collaboration at the heart of Google Apps is for me the most important feature. These are some responses that I had from the schools that I work with. What are those things that make Google Apps more efficient? Real-time collaboration. 50 users in a doc at a time. Massive impact on the way that we work. Online and offline access. Brilliant question. Network managers. Sorry guys, but what happens when the internet goes down then? Well, With Google Drive, you've got online and offline access. I came down on the train yesterday from Newcastle, as you can probably tell from my accent, and for 3 hours the internet was up and down. I was making changes on my presentation. As soon as the connection came back up, the changes go straight back into Google. Multi-device support, it works on anything. Nexuses, Chromebooks, iPads, computers, PCs, do you remember them? Yeah, everything. It's just like the web. Let's prepare users for the real world out there. Let's not buy something proprietary that's built for education and that they'll never use again. They're not going to go into employment and use that tool from that company over there, are they? No, they're going to use tools like Google Apps. Revision history was a really strange one for me that came back. Why is that so important? But it meant for this teacher that he was able to look back at a document and see how it had changed the result of the feedback and of the collaboration within it. Cloud storage for everything, never press save, and most importantly, it's free. It'll never work from us. We've got a bring your own device scheme. That's not important. Got a little video here that I made with an app called Reflection. Reflection's a great app in your school if you want to start creating tutorial videos. It streams your mobile to the PC so you can record it. So here's a nice little video that demonstrates using different systems, a computer, a mobile device, to collaborate in real time within Google Docs. Okay, Google Apps Security, the boring bit. Quick question for you. Which one of these offers the highest level of security? Option 1, it's a Google data center. Isn't that beautiful? Oh yeah. I'm not very geeky, but I get that, that's nice. All this EU Safe Harbor Agreement stuff, ISO 27001, does anybody know what that means? If you want to know any more about these security things, I've shared this on my Google Plus profile page. That's linked back to the Google BETT website, so you can see the presentation there and find out video tours and all the other stuff. So option 1, which is more secure? This one or this one? Carefully store all of your data in the office next to the cleaner's cupboard. And that's what schools do. One of my team was out last week in a school, and their servers are really securely stored in the men's toilets. People worry about this whole Google security thing, and for me, it's not a concern. I don't put my bank account number there. I don't put all my private stuff in there. But even if I did, I wouldn't mind because Google themselves can't access it. I know, because when I ask for help, I have to send them my password. Brilliant. Okay, but the geeks need control. I need to rein in the control on this stuff. I can't have them posting stuff here and putting stuff up there. Well, that's all right. You've got a brilliant Google Apps control panel, and you've got loads of control. You can manage your users, groups, turn on and off different apps. Oh, no, we don't want kids publishing to YouTube. Let's turn that off. Oh, no, we don't want kids collaborating online. Let's turn that off as well. In fact, let's switch off the internet while we're in there. But there's loads of fantastic control that you have in there that is genuinely very, very useful, and lots of reporting, because you want to measure impact, right? So the reporting systems within Google Apps are really, really useful. There is one hurdle, and John Hobson mentioned it in his presentation just earlier. Managing users across the big system is like herding cats, and you've got lots of different systems in school, haven't you? You've got your MIS, you've got your VLEs, your Google Apps, your email, all this mess and carry on all over the place. What's most important, though, is that when you stand in front of young people and you need to share a resource with them, you've got something, you give it to them. They've got their own copy that they can make their own changes on, and they can share it back to the teacher. Now, when I first started using technology like this, it would be a case of collecting the email addresses for each child in the class. So what we do as an organization is we plug into your MIS, into Facility or Sims, and we put all of that user data into our technology that we call Real Smart. And then we take that data and we put it into your Google Apps, okay? So within your Google Apps, you've got all of your users, all of your class groups. So if you're that teacher sharing a resource, you want to share with class 7A1, there they go. They've all got it just like that. That's the most important thing. So there's an example of the sharing screen within Google Apps, and there are all my class groups built in there, populated and updated every day. There are loads of other apps in the Google Apps marketplace, fantastic things like Screener, like GoAnimate, and like the Khan Academy. Brilliant web apps that we can make fantastic use of, all available through your one username and password for all of those resources. We've helped around 200 schools go Google in the last 24 months, and a few of those we've seen today, Archbishop Lanfranc, Cramerton, my former school, the RSA Academy, and the guys from Quinton here, I'm sure will tell you lovely things about the way their Google Apps experience, and they're on the start of a new trend as well. If you'd like to find out more about how we can support you with Google Apps, you can see us on stand 310. And I think it's really important to consider in this journey where you get support from. And we are the UK's first and only Google certified training centre. So you can find us over there, past that funny motorboard, on the way out there. I've got some other videos in there that I'm not going to play to you. Kirsty Burkett from Rossett School tells us about how their VLE was a place where documents went to die, and then she put them in Google Apps and they came back to life. That was a quote from a Google Hangout on Air that I attended. It's fantastic support from Google with Hangouts on Air on a weekly basis on deploying Google Apps and use it in the classroom. I hope that's been useful for you. Any questions, I'm happy to hang around for a little while. Thanks for your time.